3, 2, 1, go. Oh, well, that tells you everything you need to know. This is Xbox over PC, I suspect. That's not to say this is not going to work well on PC, but they're clearly tapping in on the Xbox market. Career in aviation feels rather gamey. In-game footage looks good initially. Okay. Oh, the water droplets, if that's what you're actually getting, that looks really good. I'm just going to pause it there. Okay, because this is something that is an improvement if we're going to get this in 2024, because we're actually seeing improved foliage and we're seeing it blowing in the wind. Also, I noticed that the vehicles, the fidelity of the vehicles does look pretty good. Let's have a further look on. There we are, there's our foliage there. Okay, and I think important just to mention this. If you're producing a video, you've got all the time in the world to make it look beautiful. The question is whether it looks as beautiful when you are actually running the sim. Elements of this are looking quite gamey to me. I can see compromise in some areas and further detail in others. Let's have a look. Okay, there's some kind of rescue mission. There's a really good example here now. This image to me doesn't look particularly gritty. It really does look like a piece of Lego, to be honest, rather than a sort of a kind of true to life image, even though that you've got the bolts in the background. But yes, a kind of curious mix going on here. Okay, cargo transport. Okay, another just observation here for those of us who fly using Flight Simulator 2020 will be aware, if I'm looking at the helicopters that we do have available, that all of them have far greater kind of grittiness and detail than what we've got here. I do hope that this is a kind of, you know, just an impression really of what's going on, because this looks pretty poor. The way that the LED panels there just to the left are kind of not really, there's no sense of kind of, well, there's a very slight sense of a bezel there, but I'm unconvinced by this. Let's carry on. Okay, and this just does feel rather gamey, really. And yeah. Oh, now this does look bright and beautiful, and the reflections look gorgeous. Let's be fair with that. Okay, vegetation again. And again there, although you can't see it there, what you've got is this kind of representation of fluid being sprayed. Now that is new to the sim as well. Good fidelity here, lovely. You can see real improvement if this is what you're going to get. And the figures don't look bad either, actually. The figures look as if they have improved. Mountain rescue. People throwing themselves out of a plane and not getting in collision with it. And aerial construction. Is that a new helicopter? It's definitely a new helicopter, I see. And these large transport planes, cargo transport. And again, here, elements of this feel very sharp, like the snow, but I'm unconvinced by the kind of softness of the image of the landing plane. Okay, charter service. So air racing. Oh, missed that. Yeah, it kind of feels kind of quite gamey and not quite enough bite. Gliding. Ah, now this is interesting. So firstly, we've got some improvements to the weather. I haven't seen a kind of tornado before, or a hurricane. So this looks interesting itself. The promise of scientific research. Oh. Now that was an interesting change. I don't know if you saw that, because what we've actually got there is a change of seasons, and what we don't have at the moment in the sim is seasons. You can get it with add-ons, but you can't necessarily get it within Microsoft Flight Simulator at the moment. So also just notice that freeze frame, how you've got this mix. This looks like a very soft aircraft here flying towards us. Oh, was that a hot airship? It was, and we've got more balloons here. Perhaps Microsoft Flight Simulator have taken a leaf out of High Performance's group. But there we are, hot air balloon trips. The sky is calling. Well, let's geek into it. To be fair, the new offering is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, following on from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So it's not as if we haven't had a decent period of time on one platform before we move to another. But I thought I would just freeze this screen because be in no doubt Microsoft is in that position where its most profitable platform is the Xbox. I find it rather ironic that sometimes games that start on Xbox and are ported to PC, there's mixed responses with that. It doesn't always work, but this is a game that started on PC that then became available on Xbox. The far bigger market for Microsoft here and its subsidiaries is Xbox. So don't be surprised. It is about money, I think, but it is about the cost of ongoing investment in Microsoft Flight Simulator. One hopes, though, that this is properly optimized for PC. So Microsoft are saying this is the next generation of Microsoft Flight Simulator, but in reality, if you look a little bit deeper into the detail, Microsoft Flight Simulator is powered by what they are saying is a significantly evolved Asobo Studio engine. Now, that has left one or two of us a little bit perplexed because the engine did need to evolve, but also there are a number of problems with Microsoft Flight Simulator that are still being ironed out to this moment. So yes, here we are looking at the Microsoft Flight Simulator page itself, and you can have a look at some of the latest news and announcements, but go to bug reports and here you go. Well, 56 a month on aircraft and systems, unable to activate the default Boeing 787-10 battery electrical. It's 4 minutes ago. 3 hours ago, Garmin G5000 rain weather radar sweeps, hides clouds after one sweep. Screen's going black, then crashed to desktop 5 hours ago. So people, yes, are encountering all kinds of problems. Air traffic control, traffic and nav aids. 7 this month. Crashes to desktops, which are the bane of, I think, some people's lives. That's what the serious kind of failings. And that destroys your enjoyment of the sim, sometimes for weeks on end with some folks as well. Hardware issues, install performance and graphics issues. You can see this here, and this is on Microsoft's own site as well before we get to user interface, scenery in airports, and bugs with VR. So what I'm saying is that this is not exactly a program that has reached maturity in terms of addressing its bugs. It does do that, and it does have a really ambitious view to the future, but this switch from 2020 to 2024 has led a lot of people just to question, well, will we be supported going ahead? Well, to save you doing the extra reading, this is the release on the 12th of June 2023 about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, what's in it and what isn't. Firstly, the simulator is a standalone simulator, so that means presumably either it's an upgrade to 2024 or it's a completely new platform that will permit your previous add-ons to function. So that's really good. Virtually all marketplace add-ons will be supported in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And notice that's marketplace add-ons. That's not third-party providers who don't make it onto the marketplace, but we hope for the best. But here's an interesting statement of, well, what kind of support can Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 players expect to see once Flight Simulator 2024 has been released? And they're saying, we will continue to deliver our Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 roadmap. which has content ranging from aircraft and avionics updates, sim updates, city and world updates. So hang on, what's being said is, so in other words, there'll be 2 products on the market, 2020 and 2024. And yeah, so not quite sure what's happening there. Will purchases users have made be transferable? Yes, with very few exceptions, they're saying. Will it have improved loading times? I think this is a major commitment from Microsoft here, because we all know the loading times are terrible on Flight Simulator, and so they're looking to adapt to changes in cloud streaming to ensure that your sim only uses and has on board the scenery that it's needed, the textures, the meshes, and the map data that it's needed, so you don't sort of clutter up all the bandwidth your side. But also it's a problem for Flight Simulator because they have to provide the data as well. And yeah, a few questions I have about sometimes the performance of the Microsoft servers, the game servers that are supplying that information. So the minimum spec, it will be as low as it is now, and it will reduce update and load times. That is significant. So because of course we're also aware that people probably have less finance to invest in hardware. Lots of questions at the moment around graphics cards and whether people really want to go to 4K, whether that's necessary. I don't think it's attracted the market share that what we perhaps thought it did, but yes, and also so therefore that we're looking at improving and updating, evolving the simulator in such a way that we don't need to invest in more hardware. Now that's also really significant. If you look at if you go to the Steam survey and look at the average hardware that people are using, it is well below what some of us are running for the sim itself. So perhaps good news there. 1 or 2 odd questions. Will there be airliners in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024? Well, I don't think that you would rule that, and you don't want to rule that out. How many people are working on it? Over 500 members. Here's an interesting question. Will the missions and activities in Microsoft Flight Simulator be like video game missions? Now watch Microsoft just on the tightrope here as they kind of try to meet the needs of simmers and gamers as well. So the missions and activities that are being included in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 are authentic recreations of those performed in real life aviation fields. We're working with a variety of organisations, firefighting, search and rescue and Coast Guard organisations across the planet to make these activities as accurate as possible. And will there be improvements to the core simulator technology? And the answer is yes. The development team is improving almost every aspect of the simulator. And some examples include improved multi-threading to improve performance. Hooray! This is a major area that Microsoft Flight Simulator could develop, because it's still heavily focused on single or dual threads, rather than the number of threads that some of us have on our CPUs at the moment. And in fact, if you look, for example, you can see videos out there of the impact of slowly reducing down the number of cores that are working on the PC. You really have to get down to about, quad core will give you the performance you need, but of course you've got multi-threading as well. Cores and multi-threading are slightly different things. But in other words, the simulator has not previously made best use of the resources available to it by our CPU manufacturer. So this is really good news. Faster download, load and installation speed, improved aerodynamics and physics simulation, improved aircraft systems, new failure wear and tear system, deeper and wider avionics systems, and cockpit tablet available by default. Well, there we are. Interesting question here as well. Will there be changes to the scenery and terrain in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024? Well, you saw it on the little film that they've done for us. But here, and again, watch the language here. We are improving the global digital twin in 3 different ways. So it seems to me that they are looking to keep 2020 going for a while. I'm not quite sure of the logic of that, but static world improvements, improved ground details, saw that in the video, 3D tessellated ground materials, enhanced 3D trees with greatly increased diversity, yes, improved cliffs. Could definitely see improvements there. Living world, animal herds and migrations, worldwide live ship traffic, well, You can get add-ons for that at the moment. I'll be interested to know whether they are compatible. Accurate live air traffic models liveries. Now, yeah, that is, they're trying to simulate at the moment, but there are better add-ons doing that work for us. And improved vehicle traffic. Yeah, vehicle traffic is appalling in the sim. It's one of the things that doesn't make it look realistic. Dynamic world. Full seasons, that is new. Okay, Aurora Borealis, Aurora Australis. Didn't even know about Australis. I presume that's the southern lights rather than the northern lights. Tornadoes and storms. Yes, so I picked up on one or two of those points. And so, folks, back, yes, to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. You know, I've got a question. In their business plan, what are Microsoft Flight Simulator and Asobo trying to build? By that, I don't mean a sim. Of course, we know that. Are they looking to build a consumer base by releasing new products and hopefully pricing them at an affordable level so that everyone who's on Xbox gets suckered into buying the product? Or are they looking to build a community that contributes to the ongoing development of their product and rewarding those who are involved by releasing not so much an update? I mean, you couldn't really call Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 an update since there have been so many world updates already. But I would be hoping for a new sim at an upgrade price. We'll wait and see. But a lot of people have invested a lot of finance into 2020 already. This is a serious point for me. Microsoft Flight Simulator users are not, I believe, like the majority of Xbox users or gamers. We are less interested in a game and more interested in a simulation. And if there is a game element, it needs to sharpen your skills in the sim. To press the point further, how long has Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 been out? Well, 2023, isn't it? So 3 years. 3 years during which users have been, well, really beta testers. Let's be honest. Beta testers who've been feeding back all those bugs, hoping that Microsoft and Asobo can optimize the simulator. And we have suffered, let's be honest, so many different types of issues. There have been bugs and the worst crash to desktops. And yes, the game perhaps drawing from more cores rather than just 3 or 4 at the most. The game using hyperthreading and clearing that, oh dear, clearing the bugs from DX12. I mean, it may as well not be there as an option in the sim. It's been an absolute disaster. It's never worked in my view, but clearing those kinds of bugs would be a vast improvement. So let's hope that we get more than a facelift, and let's just not hope that we end up with, you know, some glossy gaming thing. How much will this cost us? Well, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, let me know your thoughts. Put them in the comments section. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. In one way or another, it will help me keep producing great content that is at the leading edge of simulation. Take care, folks, and stay safe. God bless you all.